was standing on my porch a few weeks ago talking with my neighbor. Nothing important, just an ordinary conversation on an ordinary evening. And right in the middle of it, my hand just instinctively moved on its own. And I looked down and I was reaching for my phone. Nothing had buzzed, no one had texted. It was simply a pure reflex. And I caught myself and I put it back, but it rattled me. There was a real person in front of me, and my hand was already reaching for a screen. But here's why I'm telling you this. That one small moment showed me something that the summer on purpose, had been trying to show me the whole time. And you, I hope, have had moments like this too. You may just have not stopped to notice what they were saying. And that's what today is about. What summer has showed you. If you were paying attention, and I think you were. Hi, friend. If we haven't met yet, I'm Christina Ryan, a faith-based purpose and leadership coach, and I help driven people uncover the lies holding them back so that they can live and lead from truth and from the light already in them. Today, we're continuing in our Summer on Purpose series. This is week 10. What summer showed you? I want you to think about where we've been. We started by getting to know who you are underneath the roles and the noise. And then we looked at the people in your life, the ones who shape you and the ones that you're responsible for. Last week, we started our renewal phase, and I gave you permission to rest, to stop striving long enough to just breathe. And now we look back at all of it and ask one question. What did it show you? If you stay with me today, by the end of this video, you'll be able to name 3 things that summer made clear. One thing about how present you want to be, one thing you're ready to let go of, and one thing about who you actually are. That's not a recap of your summer. Friend, that's a start of your direction for fall. So let's look back. Summer has been showing you things all along, and I want to walk you through 3 of them. The first one is about the people right in front of you. Go back to that porch with me for just a second. The reason that reflex rattled me wasn't the fact that I was reaching for my phone. It was the question underneath it. Am I actually present with the person in front of me? Am I giving them the best of me or just my leftovers? Am I choosing them or am I choosing my phone and my inbox and the next thing pulling at my attention? That's how automatic it's become. You see, we don't even decide to disappear on people. We just kind of drift. But summer kept handing me the chance to choose differently, to put the phone down and to look up, to actually be there. And when I did, the other person felt it. Presence costs almost nothing, and people can tell the moment that you give it to them. There's a scene in Luke that names this exactly. Jesus is at the home of 2 sisters, Mary and Martha. Martha is busy. She's doing good things, necessary things. She's serving, but she's distracted and pulled in a dozen different directions. While Mary just sits at the feet of Jesus and gives him her full attention. When Martha has had enough and she complains, Jesus doesn't scold Mary for doing nothing. He says that Mary chose what matters most. Distraction always feels productive. That's what makes it so easy to justify, but the people in front of you don't need your multitasking. They just need you. So here's the first question Summer may have already been asking you. Were you present with the people who matter or just near them? Hold on to that, because here's what I didn't expect. I couldn't be present until I let go of some things. The room to look up had to come from somewhere. And that's the second thing that Summer showed me. Now, this one's about what you let go of. And I want to tell you about something that I changed this summer. My meetings, I cut back on them and I shortened the ones that stayed. I even combined a few that didn't need to be separate. And I gave myself and my team permission to just not meet if we didn't actually need to. And I'll be honest, I braced for something to break. Fewer meetings could mean less alignment, things slipping through the cracks, the list goes on and on. But that's not what happened. What happened was we got the time back and people were sharper, and the meetings we did keep, well, they actually mattered. And I kept thinking, how long was I holding on to all of that meeting time just because it was already on the calendar? That's what summer does when it clears your plate. It doesn't just give you a break, it shows you what you are carrying out of habit, out of necessity. And that relief, when it's gone, well, friend, that's telling you the truth. It was a weight you were never supposed to be carrying. Freedom isn't something that you feel once and lose. It's something that you're meant to keep. And here's what to watch for now. Fall is right around the corner, and it's going to try to hand it all right back to you. The calendar is going to fill, and the default is going to reassert itself. The meeting that didn't need to exist is going to show back up. And maybe for you, it isn't about meetings at all. Maybe it's the group text that you muted and you didn't miss. Maybe it's the standing obligation that you stepped back from. The rule that you'd set for yourself that you finally broke, and the world didn't come to an end. Whatever it was, you get to decide on purpose whether it comes back. And just because you carried it before doesn't mean you have to pick it up again. And when you finally set that weight down, something happens. It gets quiet. And that quiet is where the last thing Summer showed me lives. And it's the deepest one. It's who you heard in the quiet. When the noise dies down, you start hearing things that you couldn't hear before. It's not just about your schedule. It's about you. Underneath the roles and the output, summer gives you a glimpse of the person that you are when you're not performing for anyone else. There's a story about Elijah that I keep coming back to. He had just come off the biggest victory of his life out in front of a whole nation. And right after it, he falls apart, threatened, exhausted, completely spent. He runs into the wilderness and drops down under a tree. And he tells God that he just can't anymore. And here's what gets me every time. God's first response, it wasn't a lecture. It isn't a new assignment. It's rest and food. And he does it twice. And only after Elijah is restored does God speak to him. And when he does speak, he isn't in the wind that tears through the mountains. He isn't in the earthquake that shakes, and he isn't in the fire that rages. He's in a gentle whisper. And it's in that whisper that Elijah hears who he still is and where he's going next. And that's the pattern of this whole phase. Rest first, then the whisper, then the direction. You cannot hear a whisper over the noise of your normal pace. Summer hopefully turned the volume down enough for you to catch it. And this is what I mean when I talk about your light. It isn't something that summer just switched on in you. Your light is the person God actually made you to be. Present, clear, awake to what matters most. And that person was there the whole time. The pace just kept you from seeing it. Summer got quiet enough for you to notice it was still burning. To be still and know. That's the order. Still first, and then you know. So the third question is the most important one. In the quiet this summer, what did you hear about who you are? And those three questions aren't as separate as they sound. Presence, release, the voice in the quiet. One summer, showing you the same truth from three sides. Let me give you one thing to hold before you go. What summer showed you is not a detour from your purpose. It's actually a preview of your direction. So before the pace of fall comes back and drowns it out, catch it while it's still clear. 3 questions. That's it. Were you present with your people or just near them? What did you let go of that you don't want to pick back up? And who did you hear in the quiet? I built this week's reflection guide to walk you through all 3 with room to actually write your answers down. Because the things that surface when you stop striving are worth keeping. You paid attention this summer, friend. Imperfectly, sure, but you did it on purpose, and that's exactly why it had something to show you. The people who move too fast to notice, they get to Labor Day with a tan and a blur. You get to Labor Day with clarity. You're not behind. You're not starting from zero. You're not carrying 3 things that you didn't have in May. I want you to live and lead with light on purpose. And if you want help capturing all of it, it's exactly what the reflection guide is for. It's free, and the link's below in the description. Here's this week's challenge. Write down 3 things that summer made clear for you. 1 about how you want to be present. 1 about what you're letting go of. And 1 about who you are. And then I'd love if you would share it using #SummerOnPurpose. I want to see what surfaced for you. Next week, we take those 3 things and turn them into a plan. It's called You Don't Need More Time, You Need Direction. Because clarity is only the beginning of the story. Friend, if this one landed, would you do me a favor and drop 1 thing that summer showed you in the comments? Someone else may need to read it. And I will see you next week.